What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and yesterday there was a live stream where some new Keyforge cards were shown off. So what am I going to do? Not make a video about it? Ha! Doesn't sound like me. We got some more Logos cards to talk about. Now, this is the third video I've done about Logos cards from Worlds Collide. I will link the other two and all the new card videos from Worlds Collide in the description, so if you want to have a binge on new cards, you absolutely can. And let's start off with one of my favourites. Well, in terms of design, as in the creature and the kind of lore behind it, that we've seen so far, it's Code Monkey. I love this card. Even if you only look at the top half of the card, I love this card. I'm also becoming more and more in love with Logos as time goes by. They are definitely in my top three, but they could even be climbing. Go Logos! Speaking of climbing, Code Monkey's climbing. It's a free power creature with no armor. It's got deploy, which means you can put it down anywhere on your battle line. It does not need to enter play on a flank. And when you play, you archive each neighbouring creature, bearing in mind you can put it anywhere you like. And if those creatures share a house, you gain 2 Aember. That's really good. Now, we've seen creatures that gain 2 Aember. Dust Pixie gets you 2 Aember, but Dust Pixie is a vanilla 1 power creature. They literally, the card designers went, right, we're giving it a double Aember bonus, but nothing else. Now, there is actually a reason why this is slightly worse than just having a double Aember bonus, like we would see on something like Dust Pixie, and it is Shadow of Dis. Shadow of Dis is a card we saw in Age of Ascension. Until your next turn, enemy creatures' tech boxes are considered blank, except for traits. So Dust Pixie would get the 2 Aember because they're not in the text box, whereas Code Monkey wouldn't because it is. But that's a very, very subtle difference. I adore this. Get 2 creatures that share a house next to each other, play Code Monkey, put them both in your archive, gain 2 Aember. Now, if that's all you're doing, you're fine. The downside is those creatures will need to come back into play exhausted. So let's say I've got 2 Logos creatures. Let's say I've got 2 Helper Bot on the field. Well, I reap with both my Helper Bot, gaining 2 Aember. I then play Code Monkey to archive both my Helper Bot. But then they're no longer on the field. So next turn, I'm not going to be able to reap with both those Helper Bot. I can play them, but they will come into play exhausted and I won't be able to reap. But Helper Bot was not some random example, although I do love me some Helper Bot. Because you see, Helper Bot's got an amazing playability. You may play 1 non-Logos card this turn. And this is the kind of combo where Code Monkey becomes over-the-top phenomenal. If you can get 2 creatures of the same house with really good coming into play abilities next to each other, and then drop a Code Monkey, you gain 2 Aember, and you get both of these creatures in your archive. So next Logos turn, boom, down comes double Helper Bot to play 2 non-Logos cards, which means you get to play 2 out-of-house cards, and of course, you then get to draw 2 more cards at the end of your turn. Or maybe you've got 2 Urchin next to each other. Down comes Urchin. Oh, look. Now you get to steal 2 Aember on your next turn, or your next Shadow's turn, because you've got 2 Aember in your archives. One of my favourite uses for this is Plague Rat. And the reason very simply is, Plague Rat, you generally get somewhere between 3 and 7 Plague Rats. And you're going to have multiples in your deck. And Plague Rats generally tend to wipe the board of anything else. So you can essentially have a couple of Plague Rats down, then play Code Monkey to get 2 of them back, and then you can play those 2. And let's say they're Plague Rats 6 and 7. That means you're dealing 6 damage to every non-Plague Rat, and then 7 damage, or every non-rat, although incidentally only rat we've seen so far, when you play those 2 Plague Rats again. Although, of course, that will destroy Code Monkey. Way better when you've got coming into play abilities, because otherwise you really are just taking creatures off the board that could be reaping next turn. But I still love it. I think it's brilliant. You've just got to use it correctly. If all you're doing is gaining 2 Aember and taking away 2 creatures that now can't reap, it's not good. But If you're getting extra coming into play abilities or taking away creatures that were going to get destroyed anyway, etc., yeah, I'm down for it. But even that is not as exciting as Discombobulator. Discombobulator is phenomenal. It is an upgrade that gives you an Aember bonus and reads, your Aember cannot be stolen. Yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good. That is pretty gosh darn good. Stealing is phenomenal. Stealing is the reason Shadows has been the best house since Keyforge came out. Bait and Switch was such good stealing, it literally had to be errated so it could only steal 2. Too Much to Protect is still one of the best cards in the game, and there's all things like the previously mentioned Urchin and Relentless Whispers and Nerve Blast, and I'm not going to keep going. There is so many good stealing options in Shadows, and generally speaking, I've certainly seen a million different games where one player has enough Aember to forge a key and the other player goes, oh, well, I'm going to go Shadows then. And then they'll drop below 6 Aember and they don't get to forge a key. It's one of the reasons key cheating cards like Key Charge and Key Abduction have been so popular, because if you can forge a key in the middle of your turn, your opponent doesn't get an opportunity to stop you forging a key by stealing Aember, because as soon as you've got 7 Aember, you drop a key charge, boom, assuming there's nothing increasing the cost of forging a key, you're off and rolling. Discombobulator stops your opponent stealing Aember. The problem is your opponent can just destroy this and then steal Aember. So let's say you put this on a Helper Bot. I don't know why you ever would, but just as an example. You whack it on a Helper Bot, 1 power creature, no elusive. Your opponent takes it down, then they can just steal as much Aember as they like. That's annoying. So put it on a creature that's going to be hard to destroy. Put it on Lollop the Titanic that sits there as an 11 power creature. Put it on a Fang House that's got hazardous free, so that your opponent has to take free damage on a creature in order to try and take it down. Put it on a creature with elusive, let's say Kulf the Quiet. I choose Kulf the Quiet because it's an elusive creature, but it still has 6 power, so it's quite a difficult one to go and take out. And that doesn't mean your opponent can't destroy the creature and then start stealing your Aember, but it means that they've got to dedicate a lot more resources to taking out that creature and stealing your Aember. It basically turns any card you like into a Burn the Witch card. Whatever card you put this on, if your opponent wants to steal Aember, they immediately have to go after that creature, because if they don't, they can't steal your Aember. And there are going to be some decks that don't steal Aember, although honestly, at Archon tournaments, the majority of decks will have some kind of Aember control, either capturing or stealing, a lot of the time stealing. And this will be good. If stealing ever becomes a lot less relevant, then this card becomes a lot less good. But while stealing is as prevalent as it has been, I love this. Your opponent will go after the creature that this is on. And that's really sad. But until they get rid of that creature, this is great. And even if they get rid of the creature, they have got to dedicate resources to getting rid of it. That is going to be awkward for them. And finally, Titan Guardian. We should have been expecting a Titan, right? Because back in Call of the Archons, we got Titan Mechanic. Back in Age of Ascension, we got Titan Librarian. So it only made sense that we would get ourselves a Titan in Wave 3. It's Titan Guardian. A 5 power 1 armor creature for logos. That's beefy. It's got Taunt, which means you cannot attack the neighbors of Titan Guardian. You've got to attack it, which weirdly turns it into pretty much Champion Anafiel, though Champion Anafiel does have an extra power. But Titan Guardian has an extra destroyed ability. If it is not on a flank, you draw 2 cards. Now, again, this should be expected to some degree, because if Titan Mechanic is on a flank, keys cost -1. If Titan Librarian is not on a flank at the end of your turn, you archive a card. The Titans always have some kind of ability that interacts with whether they're on the flank. So does Titan Guardian. If it is not on a flank and it's destroyed, you gain 2 cards. But remember, it's got Taunt. So usually what your opponent would try and do here, take out the neighbor of Titan Guardian to put it on a flank, then take out Titan Guardian, you're golden. They don't get to draw the cards, but they can't do that. At least not of attacking. Your opponent can use cheeky damage cards like Life for a Life, for instance, to take out the one next to Titan Guardian, then take it out, it's on a flank, they don't get to draw the cards. But that is an awful lot of resources to stop your opponent drawing 2 cards. Now don't get me wrong, drawing is not a huge thing in Keyforge. Because you draw until you got 6 cards at the end of your turn, we don't need a huge amount of extra draw power. But that doesn't mean that cards like Mother and Time Traveler haven't been awesome the entire time regardless. Because they have. But it's also got Taunt. So let's say for argument's sake that you've got a creature to whom you have attached Discombobulate. Well, now your opponent cannot attack the creature with Discombobulate because they've got to attack Titan Guardian because Titan Guardian's got Taunt. And they've got to take out Titan Guardian before they can get rid of the creature with Discombobulate. So they've got to give you those 2 cards and dedicate even more resources. The fact that it's got Taunt and is pretty beefy is good. Put it down next to a creature you want to protect. Make sure the creature you want to protect is on a flank before you do this, obviously. And you got a 5 power, 1 armor creature that has to be taken down before your opponent can take down the creature they want to. And then when they do, they give you 2 cards. Yeah, I'm all in favour of this. I think these are really good new Logos cards. And honestly, everything, I mean everything I've seen from Logos so far, is getting me really excited to play some more Logos in Worlds Collide. They are rocketing up. They're in my top 3. The other 2, incidentally, are Mars and Saurian Republic. I've not been even a little bit shy about that. But Logos could be climbing. I'm going to go away and muse on that. I want you to muse on these new cards, and I want you to tell me what you think about these new cards. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Keyforge and whatever other games take me fancy. And if you want to support the channel, check out patreon.com/PTCGradio. Bunch of people have told me in the past week that I've not been pushing this enough. So there we go. Check it out if you want. Don't if you don't. I'm cool either way. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.